The courtroom stood frozen. Judge Althea Moreno entered with quiet authority, heels echoing like gunshots. At 42, with skin rich as polished mahogany and eyes sharp as steel, she sat at the bench, a symbol of justice, whether others accepted it or not. The doors flung open. Officer Silas Thorne walked in, every step reeking of arrogance. "She's the judge," he scoffed loudly. "Didn't know housekeepers got promoted." Gasps followed, but Althea didn't flinch. "This is my courtroom. Control your tongue." Silas smirked. "You don't scare me." "That robe? Just a costume. A joke." Before security could react, Silas closed the space between them and slapped her. The sound cracked the air to Althea's head, snapped to the side. A thin cut bled at her lips corner, but she didn't fall. She straightened slowly, her dignity towering. "Sergeant Diaz," she said, calm but firm, "detain him." Diaz hesitated. His eyes darted around the courtroom, then stepped back. Silas laughed. "See? Even your own won't stand for you. You're a puppet, a slave with a title." Laughter, quiet, cowardly, rippled from the benches. Then a voice rose. "Enough!" cried Mrs. Esperanza, an elderly woman rising from the gallery. "You don't know the weight she carries." "Careful, Grandma," Silas warned. "You want a free ride to jail?" She sat down slowly, lips trembling with restrained fury. Althea wiped her lip. "Officer Thorne, you are under arrest for assault on a federal officer." This time, Diaz obeyed. With a shaky hand, he cuffed Silas. As he was let out, cameras flashed. He hissed, "Damn blacks." The video went viral within hours. Hashtag Judge Moreno exploded across platforms. But inside her chambers, Althea sat alone. The wound on her lip throbbed, but it was the silence in the room that hurt more. Elsewhere, Mara Sandoval, a tenacious journalist who'd tracked Thorne's abuses for years, watched it all unfold. Her fingers hovered over her keyboard, heart pounding. She dug deeper and found it. A sealed case, Malik Jones. 19. Broken ribs. No footage. No justice. Officer on record? Silas Thorne. Friday morning. The federal courthouse overflowed with bodies and banners. Justice for Malik. Black robes matter. Chief Justice Maxwell banged the gavel. Court is in session. Althea entered the courtroom, not in her robe, but a tailored navy suit. The cut on her lip remained visible, unapologetically human. "Judge Moreno," the prosecutor began, "can you describe what happened on August 4th? She did, her voice measured. "He entered without permission, insulted my race, my authority, then struck me." Objection. Inflammatory. Silas's lawyer snapped. "Overruled," Maxwell said flatly. Silas snorted. "So what? I said what I said. I protected this city while they leached off it." Gavel slammed. Silence. But the venom had already sunk into the courtroom air. "What hurt most wasn't the blow," Althea added. "It was the silence. The lowered heads. The ones who looked away." From the back, Officer Lucia Campos clenched her fist. A pen snapped in her grip. The next witness entered slowly. Malik Jones. Now 24, he walked with a limp but stood straight. "I wasn't doing anything," he said. "Waiting for my cousin. He told me to get out. I did. I showed him ID. He didn't care. He hit me and said," Malik paused, "said he'd show me how to act like a real black man." You could hear the breathing in the room. When Silas scoffed, no one followed. Another figure entered, Cassandra Reyes, 37, gripping a folder with trembling fingers. Years ago, she'd been thrown to the ground over a bag of bread and diapers. Her front teeth still bore the scars. "He told me to kneel," she said. "He called me black trash. Then he slammed me down." "Did you file a complaint?" the prosecutor asked. "Yes," she said. "With evidence. With witnesses. With tears." "What happened?" "They said I was unstable. A panic attack in 2012. Postpartum anxiety. That made me unreliable." A murmur of disgust rolled through the courtroom. AS witnesses continued. Mara Sandoval sat in the gallery, watching, listening, taking notes. Each voice was a thread in a larger tapestry, one stitched with silence, then ripped wide open. But outside, trouble stirred. Online forums ignited. Police unions called it a witch hunt. Anonymous threats flooded Althea's inbox. One message stood out. If robes bleed, they can die too. The courtroom lights flickered once. Then, twice, security tensed. Justice Maxwell looked around, and in the back, a man stood up quietly, hand in his pocket. As Judge Moreno spoke, the cameras panned to the man seated in the front row, Commissioner Salvador Davila. His name had quietly authorized the dismissal of dozens of complaints against Officer Silas Thorne. Now, his perfectly ironed suit couldn't hide the sweat on his brow or the tension in his clenched jaw. His power was unraveling with every word that I in the audience. Expression shifted. A man who had laughed on day one now stared at the floor, pale. Officer Lucia Campos wiped away a tear with her sleeve. Captain Santos, seated beside her, didn't move. Maybe he was afraid. Or maybe he knew. The silence that once protected them had finally expired. At the defense table, Silas leaned toward his lawyer. "Make them pay," he hissed. "Say the judge's cousin's a gang member. Say Reyes sold drugs. Make it up. They'll believe you. They're black." His lawyer said nothing, just lowered his eyes and scribbled. The prosecutor asked for a brief recess. Outside, the crowd had tripled. Giant screens broadcast every moment. Children held signs. My mom was scared too. At a nearby bench, journalist Mara Sandoval filed her headline. The day's silence lost its badge. Back in the courtroom, Silas insisted on testifying. "You understand your right to remain silent?" asked Chief Justice Maxwell. "I do, but I won't." He turned to the gallery with smug defiance. "I've served this city. I've protected it from thugs, from liars. Now I'm crucified for slapping someone who got her job through quotas." He looked directly at Althea. "You're not justice. You're decoration." The room held its breath. Judge Moreno didn't flinch, but her right hand slowly curled into a fist on the bench. "My existence is not symbolic," she said quietly. "What you struck wasn't just my face. It was every door people like me had to break through to stand here. But I'm still standing." The court fell into reverent silence. "I've judged fairly across all lines," she continued. "But you don't see me as a judge, not even as a woman. You see me as a threat to a world where you are untouchable." Her words hit like thunder. Within minutes, her statement trended worldwide. Hashtag, "You won't erase me." Hashtag, "Justice for the silenced." Then came the blow Silas hadn't expected. "Your Honor," the prosecutor said, "we've received classified files from journalist Mara Sandoval, linking the accused to multiple suppressed cases." On screen appeared a digital file, signed in 2019. Supervisor, Colonel Vincent Beltran, now seated behind the prosecution. The courtroom turned to him. "Colonel," asked Maxwell, "do you have a response?" Beltran stood slowly. "I was pressured," he confessed, "by Commissioner Davila. We were told to ignore medical reports, to bury evidence." The gallery erupted. Davila looked down. He didn't deny it. Then came Officer Campos. She stood up in full uniform, cap over heart. "I was there when Malik Jones was beaten. I said nothing. They told me I'd lose my badge if I talked. I obeyed, but not anymore." More hands rose. Other officers, past victims, witnesses to years of silence. The gavel pounded, but it couldn't stop what had begun. This wasn't chaos, it was release. Suddenly, an elderly officer stood, eyes sharp with bitterness. "This is a damn circus," he barked. Silas did the dirty work we all needed done. If he had to bend rules, so what? From the front row, a young woman stood, Eva Jones, Malik's sister. "My brother was a student," she said softly. "You didn't just hurt his ribs. You hurt what little faith he had left." The old man sat back down. He didn't speak again. Finally, the moment arrived. The courtroom fell still. Chief Justice Maxwell opened the folder. "Silas Thorne," he said, "for assault, misconduct, racial violence, and obstruction of justice, this court sentences you to 24 years in federal prison without parole. Effective immediately." Silas stood emotionless, but his silence was no longer power. It was defeat. As he was led away, he muttered, "Damned blacks." No one responded. No one even looked at him. He was no longer feared, just forgotten. Judge Moreno remained seated, the cut on her lip still visible, her black robe draped over the chair behind her. The courtroom was quiet, not out of fear, but reverence. Then she spoke once more. This court recommends the immediate reopening of all closed cases involving the accused. It was a quiet sentence, but it shattered walls. Across the country, headlines exploded. Victims long ignored finally had their names spoken in court. Files reopened. Careers re-examined. No more shadows. Outside, under a gray sky, people gathered. Not in rage, but in resolve. Justice had spoken. And this time, it refused to whisper.